Hey everyone, it's Geoguessr here, and I am going to do a video that is a little different than most of the stuff I do. Geoguessr today put out a pile of tweets with their opinion on how their 2024 went. So they broke it down in categories and parts of the categories, and I'm going to go over them with my feelings on it, because I don't think everything they put down that they're bragging about is a win, but there are some wins. I mean, I would say they have more wins than losses, but let's look at that, and you can tell me if you feel differently about it. So here we go. Their first panel they had as the general section, and I mean, that's pretty obvious by the title what that means. It just means basic things about the overall game. The first one said, new daily free game. Now this is something that they used to have, and then they took it away when they created the pay model in February of this year, so they don't even mention the fact that they took it away originally. But they have since then added a mini game. I think it's 3 rounds. If there's something else that they are talking about, I don't know. I just know about this 3-round one, so it's something. I'm giving them a approval on that one just because they gave something back. Obviously, free users aren't happy that they can't just play willy-nilly free all the time anymore, but this is a starting point to get you in the game. That's all it's supposed to be, and I think it does its job. The next one, I have no idea why they think a Microsoft Teams app is... why? Why would... I don't know anyone that uses Microsoft Teams app at all. Like, literally, I don't know anyone that uses it for anything. So why? Just why? So that's a big fail. They launched the referral program this year. I think it's okay, but I don't know if it's great. I think it could use some fine-tuning. I don't think it's bad nor good, so I'm giving it a middle mark there. That's what the yellow is going to represent. I would like to see it do more things, or I don't know what I necessarily want from it. I just think it isn't at its full capacity yet, but it's a starting point. Loads of new avatar assets. I am less annoyed by avatars than I was when they first brought them out, but I still don't like them. And it just infuriates me as a player who every single day wakes up to a new broken part of the game repeatedly, seeing them waste their time on these. And I get their dev team has told me over and over again, we have different people that do different parts of the thing. People dealing with the hiccups in the game don't work on apps or on avatars. That's fine. But when you have problems in the game, take those people out of that team and put them there until you fix the problems. Once the problems are fixed, you can move forward with your money grab. Go ahead. But don't keep making new things while other things are broken. Updated UI and font. So I'm kind of a mixed bag on this, even though I gave it a fail on this. I actually don't hate the new UI. I just... there's parts of it that frustrate me. It has broken down. There's been a few things that have broken down because of it. But the biggest annoyance, obviously, is the one that most people who play in the multiplayer tabs will tell you, and that is they removed tournaments from there. But they still have tournaments. They just put it on the front page where nobody outside of going there by accident or being a newcomer ever goes in their life. And they stuck it on the front page where no one's going to see it. And the results are shown. When they first had tournaments, the numbers were, weakening. They were only filling 3 or 4 tiers on some days. Then they moved it to the multiplayer tab with an actual tab on the page that you could see there, so you knew it was there. The opening weekend that they did that, they had 21 tiers. And, again, it plateaued out maybe like 9 or 10 tiers on average after that. But you were getting full tiers. Since they moved it off the page, it's dead. It is so dead. It's back down to 3, sometimes 4 or 5 tiers maximum. There was a time a week or two ago, I entered a tournament. I'm usually a tier 2 or a tier 3. I ended up in tier 1. It was so dead. I should never be in tier 1 at the skill level I'm at right now. They need to fix that, and that's part of their UI problem. That is part of just the overall thing. I also am not a new fan of the countdown clock in a duel. It's too big and annoying looking. The old one was less annoying. They literally just changed that in the last week or two. I don't know why. They've made changes for change's sake, and I see other companies do this all the time, and it bugs me to no extent there too. Geoguessr just, you know, on this one. Don't hire people you don't need. That's kind of the call I have to say on this one. If you've hired someone and their job is completed and you don't have new work for them, just be like, thank you for your service. We appreciate it, but we don't have nothing new for you now. It's okay. Like, stop giving them excuses to fuck with stuff that doesn't need to be changed. Like, it's just unnecessary. You've made like 100 UI changes in like the last year. So that gives us the end of page 1. Page 2. Page 2, I'm going to have to start going through these faster. I just realized my battery's down to about 50%. Is the competitive scene, which obviously I have a lot of opinion on. I am, you know, fairly active in that. So let's go down these. The new ranked system. No. Just a huge no. This is one of the biggest fails they've got going right now. The tiers, the divisions, whatever you want to call them, nobody likes them. They're stupid on a level I can't describe. And I don't even, like, I think the idea of them sounded great in theory. It was a way to minimize people creating new accounts and just blowing their elo up real fast and having nice shiny 100% win rates after 40 games and stuff like that. It sounded nice in theory, but I think we now know it's a fail. On top of it, you've made it so silvers and bronzes elos don't show up, and that should never be a thing. I, as a master division, still end up playing silvers. I still get silvers, and I don't know what their elo is when I'm playing them. I have to play them not knowing what their elo is. They could be a 1500 for all I know. But I don't get to know that. You need to show everyone's elo, no matter how poor it is. And I would say do away with the system. Yeah. Almost everything else on here, great. Ranked team duels, terrific idea. People wanted it for a long time. I still am a little on the fence because it waters down the solo duels division, but I do like it. The no moving NMPZ duels, same as ranked duels. I like it, even though it does water down the field. I will tell you, as a moving player, it has gotten like 60% harder to find a match relatively quick ever since these were brought in. But it gives the people that want that mode a place to play that mode now, instead of cluttering up the moving system as much. And they still come to the moving system. Like, I get NMPZ players in the moving games all the time, and I'm just like, what are you doing here? You have your own mode. But, you know, overall it's a plus. NMPZ tournaments, big plus. That didn't really take away much from the moving tournaments that already existed. They just added more, and I like that. They didn't take anything away, they just added, and that was a huge plus. Separate game mode rating, huge plus. Obviously, like everybody else, I would appreciate if in matchups you matched by those ratings instead of your overall rating, but as an overall idea, it's a huge plus. There was a little hiccup in there. I didn't like the fact that your elo was based off of your starting rating. That was a huge negative, but the overall score is still a win. Map rotation, I am mixed on because, again, I'm a moving player, and they don't always pick the best moving maps. And I get that there aren't a lot of great moving maps to choose from yet, although there are a couple in the works down the line that I think in the next year will change that. But yeah, the moving maps is probably a mid-ground one. Some people have liked some of the maps, and then the very next map rotation they will rant like I do, and they will be like, this is the worst thing, I'm not playing until they change the map. And that's kind of frustrating if you're a player who's maybe trying to accomplish a certain thing. People doing the Road to Rank 1 videos, or people who are trying to get to a certain elo or something like that, and you have to put your thing on hold for a month because they've changed the map to something you don't like. I don't know a better answer. I don't. But this current answer also isn't a win for them. It's not a loss, but it's not a win. And then lastly is investigations, which is a great idea. I'd love to see it fully get implemented. I think there are some fine-tuning they would have to do with it to make it work. I mean, I have 100 ideas for them on this, but I think as an idea, it's a good idea. I think there's always going to be room for improvement in it, and I do think it's probably something that could have some flaws in the system. Somebody could find a way to manipulate it, but once that's figured out, you just find a way to work around that. I think it's a system that can go forward as a success down the road. Now, on to the third page of things. So next up comes the party mode system, and this is generally overall pretty good. The Game Master mode has some bugs. Literally in their World League going on right now, they have bugs with it all the time. But it is a great idea in theory. And I think it's still a good idea overall. It has room to be great if they can fix all the bugs that come out with it, but it is at the very least a good idea. The play-alongs are pretty good. I personally have only played along as a spectator a couple of times, and they're good. It's like Geoguessr without the Geoguessr app, you know. It's good. And I think their biggest bonus of the year is increased bullseyes to 20 people. I used to dislike bullseye a lot when it came out because it was so limiting. There was only 6 people allowed in a game, and people wouldn't voluntarily hop out to let other people try. And you're sitting there waiting for a person to drop out for sometimes 45 minutes, and the same 6 people will play over and over and over and over again while 11 people are sitting in the queue hoping to get in. 20 is great, and it really helps when you fill out the 20 to get to that bullseye a lot better. If you don't have, you know, someone like Blinky in your group, like, you have a better chance of getting a perfect score with 20 people than you do with 6. So yeah, I think these are all excellent additions. For page 4, we go to the World Cup section. And I mean, I think, you know, there are some imperfections to this, but I think on the whole, this is going to be green check marks all across. The 3 regional finals, terrific idea. The 4 wild card tournaments, a good idea. I do 100%. They could give me a sworn affidavit statement saying differently. I will never believe that half of this wasn't thought up on the fly with no idea where they were going with it. They seem to pull wild card ideas out of the air. They had an all Polish tournament. Why? Like, the one in Andorra was a cool idea. The other, I mean, they were all cool ideas. Maybe the Polish one was a little ridiculous, but they had cool ideas, but I don't think any of them were things that they, before the World Cup qualifying started, they're like, this is how we're going to decide the qualifiers, these 4 specific tournaments. And I think making them up as you go along was an awful idea, but it was still fun, it was still good, and they got, you know, a decent assortment of people out of those tournaments. The World Cup finals, amazing, amazing, amazing. I've seen a lot of people say they can't top it. I kind of feel that way too. I don't know if 2025's finale can top how amazing that finale was. And the tournament as a whole, I think, was great. It might be the best field that there's been, and that's including the current World League field. Like, we'll see this year. I mean, maybe this year will surprise me and somehow it'll actually top that one, but I don't know if it can. And then the launch of the World League 2025. There's a lot of hiccups with the 2025 World League, and it's not perfect. But this is their first year doing it, and it's them taking a step forward. I do wish they had there's some different ideas I wish they would have. I think everyone playing each other thing is a great idea. I think that's how you should decide it, is everybody should have to play each other at least once. But I do think there should have been some maybe weighted points to people in your division, because those divisional matchups should mean more than a regular matchup. But overall, I think it is a good idea that has a potential to be a great idea, especially if they ever do something about round limits and fixing the moving tournament. Those are the biggest drawbacks to their idea right now, is the round limits. I mean, multipliers I'm not a fan of either, but I understand them a little more than the round limits. But the moving tournament, or the moving part of the event, has to be modified. And I have ideas on that. Not that they ever want to listen to my... Actually, that's not fair. They do actually listen to my ideas a fair bit. Even when they are arguing with me. But it's a very good idea that has the potential to be a great idea. So let's move on to, I guess we're on to page 5 now. So I don't have a lot to say about page 5 because I don't use the mobile app, because I'm a normal person. And for those that play on mobile, they're like, I can't believe you just said that. Come on, man. You'd play on a desktop if you had one. Let's be honest. Launched Terra and added loads of new content. No idea what either of those things mean, so I had to give it a mid-square mark. Added portrait mode. Why would you play this in portrait mode? Who needs to see more of the sky? What? Like, why? What? I should have given this a red X, but I gave it a middle score when I did this. So I guess that's what I'm sticking with, even though you just heard me like go off on it. No, it should be a red X, but I have it marked down as a yellow square already, and I'm just gonna let that roll. And then launched seasons. Are you kidding me? Is there seriously seasons in mobile? If so, what's going on with the devs at Geoguessr? Like, do you guys just have meetings going, how can we screw this up any more than we already do? Because you took seasons away. You literally took seasons away from the mode that everybody plays, which is on desktop, to put it on the thing nobody plays, mobile, and gave the desktop people this stupid tier system. This deserves 2 X's. I don't have room for a second X on there, but this is the biggest fail on this entire sheet yet. As soon as I read that, I was just like, what? And last comes the 6th page of it, the community section. This is more or less a pretty big win across the board for them. Varying levels of win. Awarded Zigzag with the Content Creator Award. Fair enough. I do think he hustles hard for the pull that he gets, and he puts out pretty good content, and he's had some great collaborations with people outside of the Geoguessr community, which really builds on top of that. So I think that it was a justified win. Plunkett for the community champion, again, a very, very good pick. I think everyone that was in the community champion running was a great pick. I wouldn't have been, I think, disappointed with any of them, but But I think Plunkett, their guide alone, probably gives them, you know, a little edge up on everyone. Map maker improvements. They get the green check mark for this, even though, let's be honest, Rihanna and others put in the work to practically hand deliver them the ideas. Would they have ever implemented any of the changes they made without them? Maybe not. But they did it. There's probably still some work to do, but it is an improvement, so they get the pass for that. Launched patch notes, great idea. I can't remember if I brought it up to them, but it was definitely on the laundry list of things I've considered talking to them about. That they have a communication thing on the game where, you know, people can send friend requests. You can find out if you got an ELO return through a report or anything like that. I always thought, like, why aren't you using this to tell people of things with the game that maybe are broken or fixed or added? And they started doing that this year. They started doing that. Huge win. And lastly, the public forums and bugs and feature requests. Very good. I think I would like it just a bit more if there was a more prominent place to find it than buried. I can't remember even what tab it's in, but I think it needs to be a slightly more prominent place to find it. I also would like to see the option to downvote a thing. There's a lot of ones in there I see, I'm just like, you can only upvote, and I kind of feel that takes away from it sometimes, because something could get 17 upvotes, but there could be 35 people that might think it's a bad idea, but they don't really get a say in the same way. So yeah, those are this year's accomplishments according to Geoguessr, and for the most part, I mean, yeah, they have more wins and losses. Let's look at the final tally here. So there's okay, so the final total is 18 wins, 5 losses, and 4 draws, I guess. That's a pretty good percentage. Pretty good. And I do think that kind of is my feeling on the game this year, is it was pretty good. There's always room for improvement, and they do have to really work on stop screwing up things that are already right. They have too many times had a good idea and thrown it away for a different idea that doesn't work. I mean, the competitive scene is a perfect example of that right now. But as a overall thing, they had a really good year, and I don't hate their bragging in this one. I think it is mostly justified. The few misses they do have, though, I mean, they're some pretty ugly misses. You know, so it is an overall win, and that is it for this. I actually graded their 2023 list as well, but I don't remember what I gave it. That's a year ago. I'm not going to find it now. Unfortunately, I didn't do a video on it, but that's it for this, and I will see you in the future. Bye.